Hello my friends and enemies, I'm glad you are here. This video is part of a series that looks at characters in Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time, introducing them, showing their development, and providing details about their lives that make them the fantastic characters they are. Before we jump into this, I'd like to ask you to like the video if you think it was well done, share our videos, subscribe if you like the content, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. Now, into the meat of it. Today we will talk about Moiraine and her character, and how she develops throughout the series, and a little bit of how she's portrayed in the show. She's described as short, she only reached Rand's chest, with brown hair and soft ringlets, and large brown eyes. Her clothes are described as such. Her clothes were just as strange. Her cloak was sky blue velvet, with thick silver embroidery, leaves, and vines and flowers all along the edges. Her dress gleamed faintly as she moved, a darker blue than the cloak, and slashed with cream. A necklace of heavy gold links hung around her neck, while another gold chain, delicate and fastened in her hair, supported a small sparkling blue stone in the middle of her forehead. A wide belt of woven gold encircled her waist, and on the second finger of her left hand was a gold ring in the shape of a serpent biting its own tail. He had certainly never seen a ring like that, though he recognized the Great Serpent, an even older symbol for eternity than the Wheel of Time. The Eye of the World, Chapter 2. Her nationality is Cairhienin, which explains her height, as Cairhienin are short in comparison to other nations. She joined the Blue Ajah, and as she was accepted when she heard the prophecy of the dragon being born on the slopes of Dragonmount. This is significant, as the Blue Ajah are known for picking causes and supporting them. I'd say that searching for the dragon reborn and keeping him alive to fight the Dark One in the last battle is kind of an okay cause to support. Just kind of. Not like existence itself is at stake or anything, you know. Moiraine is also known to use aliases to keep her identity hidden. This plays a role that is important to the story. More on that later. So now that we have an idea of what Moiraine looks like, let's take a look at the book versus show descriptions of her character. Our first introduction to Moiraine in the books is her disguise as a student of history and learning about the area of the Two Rivers and its inhabitants. Sounds like a lame way to introduce a character, but is actually quite ingenious. An Aes Sedai searching for a particular child would draw attention. Attention that she does not want to have targeting her when it could be a detriment to her mission. Not to mention her target. So she assumes the identity of this traveling historian with her companion, Lan. Her silk clothes caught the villagers off guard, as they're not familiar with that kind of clothing entering in their particular region. Our first introduction of Moiraine in the show is Lan entering the Wine Spring Inn, making people nervous, and then Moiraine appearing mysterious-like, but being noticed instantaneously by people who have never seen an Aes Sedai before, and getting everything handed to her. Though her lack of silk clothes was very disappointing. Now there would be gossip for a year or more about an Aes Sedai being in the Two Rivers. This would attract attention from enemies that would not have been made aware until after they are gone. But instead they go the public route. Now, one could argue that in the books they went public. However, I would like to point out that they only went public when the village was under attack and left shortly thereafter. In the show, they just arrived and immediately are recognized, which would give them no time to perform their search before the enemy would be aware of their presence. We also lose out on an epic speech by Moiraine about the Two Rivers history and Manetheren. It's amazing. The show missed out on having fantastic flashbacks showing Manetheren and its struggle with the forces of the Shadow. It could have been Lord of the Rings level of goosebumps when the charge hits. But instead, we received a single brief mention of it during a horse ride on the road in a strange bluegrass song that has the word Menethrin in it. Not exactly blood pumping. The Moiraine we get in the books is calm, collected, and thoughtful, but also regal and self-assured without being arrogant. Her later platonic friendship with Swan Sanche, who had become the Amerlin seat, allowed her to plan out how to save the world for 20 years and put the fate of the world into the hands of the Dragon Reborn as she tries to guide him. She is intelligent enough to narrow down the possibilities of who the dragon is to 3 boys with birthdays within 2 weeks of each other and asks questions to confirm suspicions as the eye of the world goes on. But it is never in question that it could be someone other than one of these 3 boys. She clings to Lan as a companion and a friend, allowing him to do what must be done in order to defeat the Shadow. Moiraine from the show is hyper-emotional, prone to rash decisions, and gets mouthy with those who stand in her way. Knowing nothing, she conveniently gets to a decent plot point, but proceeds down the wrong path and overplays her hand non-stop. Along with Swan Sanche, her former teenage fling, they make obvious mistakes in both public and private. This makes all Aes Sedai look incompetent. Moiraine can't even figure out the prophecy when it was blatantly spoken in her presence. Ignoring the dragon's need to learn the one power, the male half of Sidene, which she can't do anyways, but lets him flounder and flings him at the quote-unquote Dark One, sounds like a plan doomed to fail. Abandoning Lan at what seems any chances she can is only one of the many bad choices she can make in the so-called quote-unquote storyline. These are just a few comparisons of what we get based on the medium we partake in. Sadly, we didn't get a very accurate representation of the books in the show. They are polar opposites in just about every way. Moiraine is a very interesting character, and I really wish we'd have seen her portrayal be faithful to the books, as we would have seen an excellent character brought to life. At least for the time she's in the books. Remind me why she is the main character? That being said, thanks for watching this video. Look out for more videos explaining more of the series' content and what could have been changed to make it better than it was. Likely there will be more information on things only touched on in this video, so stay tuned. Walk in the light, my friends.